We still live with the effects of 9/11 today. Nobody that was alive at that time was unaffected by it, whether you were in the Bureau or not.
We live in a different world now. It changed the FBI, it changed the world as to the way we look at things and we do things.
I think we finally arrived out at the scene between 2 and 3 o'clock that afternoon. The plane crashed shortly after 10 a.m. So we had an RA out near that site, and they responded initially.
We would have been the first because it's 20 minutes from the office as we drove that day. I expected to see fuselage, remnants of a plane, which I didn't see anything but pretty much smoke and some fires.
I saw absolutely no signs that an airplane was present, no matter what direction I looked.
You didn't know that a plane had crashed there. You had a crater, and the initial crater was probably 15 feet deep, but we didn't have big plane parts laying everywhere.
It looked like the plane had hit, but there's not a lot of evidence of the airplane, and I've described it a lot of times as basically a knife through hot butter.
What I saw when it got up there was kind of I've described it as a crater. There was a mound of dirt above it, and when you stood above the mound, you could actually see the wings, outline of the wings and the main fuselage, the center of the plane, how it went down in the ground.
There was a misty smoke in the air from the jet fuel that had set the woods on fire.
It was very barren. It had been a strip mine, so it was a very barren area with some trees behind, and that's what burned.
As far as the odor, it wasn't as bad as you might think. There were obviously certain spots that you would hit. You had the smell of death.
My immediate reaction was, there are no survivors here. This is not a rescue effort. This is a crime scene, a recovery effort.
But it looked like an organized form of chaos, if that makes any sense.
And there were some real significant finds that they were getting very early on. I was shocked at the number of items that they were able to recover.
We found great evidence at Flight 93. We found the passports of the hijackers. We found the notes that they had written for themselves. We found a knife that we believe was used by one of the hijackers. The other crash sites had a lot more things to deal with. They had buildings collapsing on the sites. They had a lot of recovery efforts. They had a lot of people who survived in the collapse of those buildings that they had to rescue. We didn't have a building collapse. The only people injured at this site were the 44 people who were killed on that plane. Once we did start processing, there was a big push to find the black boxes so that we could find out maybe what had happened on board the plane. We were pretty sure that the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder were going to be in the crater. So they were concerned that there was a possibility that they could have landed in the pond. We brought in divers from the Navy because at the time only the Navy had the equipment to hear the cockpit voice recorders and flight data recorders ping when they were underwater. We actually found the first recorder in the crater 5 minutes before they arrived on the scene.
I expected to see fuselage, remnants of a plane, which I didn't see anything but pretty much smoke and some fires.
I saw absolutely no signs that an airplane was present. I saw absolutely no signs that an airplane was present.
You didn't know that a plane had crashed there. You didn't know that a plane had crashed there. We didn't have big plane parts laying everywhere.
But it looked like an organized form of chaos, if that makes any sense.
Like an organized form of chaos, if that makes any sense. Like an organized form of chaos, if that makes any sense.
like an organized form of chaos, if that makes any sense.